Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
He tells to her that he wants to be a veterinary doctor, since her pet died, so they buried it. And then he tells to her that he doesn't want to see her cry ever again, because after becoming a veterinary doctor, he will cure all of her pet. And then she asks him if it's related to his race, to which he replies with veterinarian means it's a doctor that cures animal, which made her happy, and she tells to him that's amazing, and he tells to her that he will definitely become one, so she should wait. This gave her comfort, and she says yes. In the end, she hugs him by saying thank you to him. Afterwards, she thinks to herself that he is the person that she adores, while he is inviting her to play with them, because she was alone. Afterwards, while playing outside, he shows them a huge beetle, and he tells to everyone that he will teach them on how to catch it. Even in the exam, he got the top score, which made his friends to think that he is really smart, but he was still saying that he is going to become a veterinarian. That's why he is studying so much. But then in one evening, she tells to him that she is going to get transferred to another school. Afterwards, while going to her new home in a train, she suddenly notices him calling her name, and he was waving bye to her, while she was thinking he is the boy that she loves, and no matter how far they go, also how many years it takes, she hopes him to be happy. After some years later, he was sitting with a dead eyes, and someone was calling him, which made him to get more scared, and the other boy was telling him to wipe the board since it was his turn to do it. After hearing it, he was confused, and while being scared, he says cleaning duty, which made that guy to get angry, and he shouts at him to clean the board because I said so, to which he starts to say sorry again and again. And then while he was going, the other guys in the class was laughing at him, but then his bench was also full of scribble saying him to die. Afterwards, while walking, he was holding a paper which says adapt. After reading it, he thinks that he should adapt to his environment. In the end, he gets some confidence after reading it. But that confidence quickly vanishes right after he heard some people laughing, but they are just having fun. But this still made him to get scared and to breath heavily. After opening the closet to get his shoes, it was full of trash with a note that says trash bin, which shocked him. Afterwards, he comforts himself by thinking the bullying is a lot better than he was in the middle school. And while reading his notes, he gets a little self-confidence to do his best. Despite his bullying, he still haven't given up on becoming the veterinarian. Afterwards, while going in the train, he takes out his mark sheet where he aced every one of them. And while looking at them, he gets a notification on his phone, which was a message from his mother, which tells him to buy dinner while returning. After reading it, his hands started to tremble, since he realized his mother is in a bad mood. After buying the food in the supermarket, and when he was a kid, his mother welcomed him after returning home. But now his house is like they are living in the trash. And then he slowly walks in the living room, while his mother is sitting there like a maniac. Afterwards, they started to eat, and he decides to eat faster and leave, since he have to study maths. While thinking about it, he suddenly grasped, to which his mother suddenly asks him, and why is he grasping? With a menacing face, she says, are you thinking that I should be the one that should cook the food? Which made him to get scared, and he tries to explain himself. But then she suddenly taps on the bench, and she started to say that she have to go to the hospital and take a bunch of pills, and then she have to go do her part-time job, only to get reprimanded by the office boss. Meanwhile, he gets to go to school with no trouble. But after hearing it, he started to say sorry to her, and all of a sudden, she throws away the food by saying that she doesn't want it anymore. Because of him, she lost her appetite. Meanwhile, he was still standing there apologizing to her, and he goes on by, thinking it's all his fault, since she is going to be hungry, because he said something. Afterwards, with a dead eyes, he questions himself on what was he even apologizing for. Afterwards, while walking to his room, he thinks to himself it hurts. After getting inside his room, he silently sits while trembling. Afterwards, he gets up to study maths, and in the end, he started to study, and he started to think that even though he had a fun life, everything can really change in just small time. everyone in the school thinking him as an enemy. His own mother became a scary woman, and everything changed except one thing, which was his dream to become a veterinarian, since he told to his first love that he will become one, and he will keep trying to become a veterinarian if it's for her, even if he gets bullied or get beaten. Even if he wants to die, he will still continue for her. And he doesn't care, even if everybody around him tells him to die, he will keep on living, since it's fine for him to keep living. But while he was thinking about that, his smile slowly fades. He then tells to himself that he shouldn't use her as an excuse. Afterwards, he started to remember everything they bullied him with, and all of a sudden he gets in dream, where his childhood friend says that she doesn't care about him anymore, since he became gloomy and creepy, so he should just die, which broke him the most, and he got emotional damage, and then he was just sitting there silently, without any moment. All of a sudden a girl opens the window, and she says long time no see, and she was happily looking at him, while he was sitting there traumatized. Afterwards he slowly looks at her. After looking at her, he gets in resembles of his childhood crush on her face, which made him to feel terror. And then he asks to her it's the second floor, to which she says that she moved into the next building. So she jumped into his house as a shortcut. After hearing it, he was shocked, and he tells to her that's really dangerous. But she just straight up hugs him by saying that he is really kind. Afterwards, she was really happy to see him. But in the other hand, he wasn't happy, and he suddenly steps back, and he started to fear and tremble, while thinking what he should do if she also tells him to die, and that thought made him to get more scared. But all of a sudden, she takes out a chips bag saying it's the gift she brought him, but he got confused, while she is telling him it might have been crushed, since when she was about to jump it got crushed. After saying it, she was holding that bag, and she slowly shakes it, and then she goes on by saying that she will open it carefully, so it won't make a mess in his room. After saying it, she then started to shake it slowly, but this just made him to be confused. In the end, he takes the chips from her, and he opens it, to which she says that he is a genius. Afterwards, while eating it, she tells thanks to him, since she can now eat it without spilling the chips. But he was sitting there silently. After noticing it, she asks him to taste the chips, and then he eats one of them, and he tells to her that they do taste good. After saying it, he went to silent mode again, and he started to think that carefree attitude is so nostalgic, and suddenly she asks him to look at her. After looking at her, making a fun face, he smiles, and she goes on by asking him, "Isn't it cute?" To which he blushingly replies with, "Yes, it's cute." Afterwards, she notices something, which was the textbook from a school where only smart students are allowed. After that, she was shocked to hear the fact that he is still aiming to become a veterinarian, to which he tells to her if she still remembered that day, but she was just looking at that textbook happily, and all of a sudden she became so happy, and as a result, she came in running to hug him, while saying the words, "I love you." After hugging, she tells to him no matter what, he never changes, which is the thing that she likes about him so much. But after hearing it, he got a tear in his eyes, and he started to think it's not a dream since it's so warm. Afterwards, he calls her name, while thinking that she is so kind and cute, and he goes on by reaching his hands and touches his cheeks, while thinking that she is so soft. But she just got happy and started to smile, and she goes on by saying that she loves him so much. After hearing it, he was shocked and he started to cry. In the end, they hugged while he started to let out his sadness that was built inside him all this time, while thinking that he is glad that he was alive all this time. Afterwards, she started to pat on his head, while saying everything will be okay. Afterwards, he tells sorry to her, since he fell asleep after that. And while walking home, she says sorry for intrusion to his mom. While they were standing in front of the door, someone comes out from their room, which was his sister, and she tells goodnight to her as well, but without saying anything, she started to walk away. Afterwards, his dad walks in, and she says goodnight to him as well. Afterwards, before leaving, she tells to everyone to see you later, but then her expression suddenly changes while she mutters to herself that they are murders, And she goes on by thinking not just his family, but their school people, also the god too, everyone who made Wichi die. Afterwards, he asks to her if she said something, to which her expression suddenly changes, and she says it's nothing. But then she goes on by thinking the cruel destiny he had. She will kill it this time. After getting to her home, she says thanks to him for walking her all the way to here. Afterwards, with a happy face, she tells to him, "See you tomorrow." He was in his bed, and he thinks to himself that girl that got transferred to different schools has came back. But even after remembering, he wasn't happy at all, since everyone is kind to him at first, where his friend used to ask him if he is okay. But now they just avoid Wichi, because it's depressing just to talk with him, and other peoples aren't talking to him, because they gets bullied just by being with him, while others just straight up hurts him by saying he became a boring person. After remembering all of that, he thinks that she will also one day be like them, and she tells him to die, which made him to get tremble in terror. Afterwards, while suffering in fear, he tries to sleep, but he just couldn't able to sleep as the time goes on. In the end, it became morning, and she came back with a refreshing smile while saying good morning to him. After seeing her, he was shocked, and he asks to her on how she came here, to which she says that she jumped inside his window, and then he asks to her on why she is in top of him, but she just straight up hugs him by saying that's because she wanted to stick with him. Afterwards, she was looking at him while blushing, and she started to say it's making her happy to see him again, which made him to blush a little bit. Afterwards, he was shocked, and he asks to her on why she is wearing that clothes, to which she replies with that from today onwards, she will be going to his same school as well. And she goes on by waking him up by telling him to get ready. Afterwards, she got embarrassed and leaves to room until he gets changed. When he got changed, she was looking at him happily, while saying the uniform looks so cool on him, which made him to get happy, since she asks Wichi if she can hug him, to which he says yes, and she goes in for the hug. Afterwards, he started to think that she might change anytime, which really terrifies him, but he gets happy, since for the time being it looks like he is going to be fine. And right after he got back some confidence, his mom comes in, which terrified him, and she was standing there like a scary woman. But right after coming in, his mom tells her to get out of here since she has something to talk with Wichi, to which she smilingly says got it. In the end, she takes out her bag and leaves the house by telling see you later to Wichi, but then after coming out her expression changes, and she thinks to herself that she won't let his mom to show it to Wichi. Afterwards, she started to walk behind their house. In the end, she finds a back door, and she opens the door to find out it's like a trash. Meanwhile, her mother is asking Wichi if he's still angry about the thing that happened on yesterday, which scared him. And she goes on by saying that she was really tired yesterday. Plus, she wasn't feeling well and stressed out every day. Also, she have to take care of her unstable mental health. So it wasn't her fault for getting angry on him, since she was also trying her best. To which he says that he understands while being scared. And all of the sudden, she started to shout by saying that he doesn't understand anything. So he is also going to abandon her too. And while she was crashing out on Wichi, she was burning something on the stove. But his mother is still telling him if he is going to leave her after getting married. But that made her to get anxious. Right after saying it, she tried to show something to him. But he wasn't paying attention since the fire alarm has gone off, and without looking at his mom's hand, he rushes in to see on what happened to the alarm. After he left the room, she gets on her knees, while telling him to cry like usual and apologize to her. And when he rushed in to see what happened, there were no one in the room, and someone calls him, which was Yachua, and she asks to him on what was that sound, to which he tells to her that it was a malfunction. But then she suddenly says that she took Wichi's bag with her as an accident. And also she took his shoes. Afterwards, she tells to him that they should go to school together. But then he was still scared off her mother, but she just puts down his shoes, and after seeing her, she resembles like a dog to him, which made him to think that was cute. Afterwards, his mom walks in and says that she will show it to Wichi on what she did to her hands when he returns from the school, and all of a sudden she notices something on the table, which was a photo that was burnt, and in there everyone in. Their family got burnt except Wichi, which made her to get panic attack. Afterwards, they were walking to the school, and she was really excited to go to the same school as Wichi. While they were walking, Wichi suddenly takes out his paper note, and then she looks at him on what he is doing, which made Wichi to get scared, and he tells to her it's his usual habit, but she just hugs him by saying he is doing everything to become a veterinarian, which is making her happy. Afterwards, while blushing, she asks to him if he really wants to become a veterinarian, since if he finds anything better to do than become a veterinarian, he should pursue that, but he still says that he wants to become a veterinarian, to which she tells to him it's actually making her happy. Afterwards, she tells to him that she now has a dog, and she shows him the picture of that dog. Afterwards, while walking, she was always speaking to him, and after a while she takes out some food by saying she made breakfast for him, and as the time goes on he gets terrified. And then they reached to the train station, which made him to get more scared, and he started to think that he hoped to not meet them in here, the people that he went with when he was in the middle school, but her expression suddenly changed after seeing them, but to his surprise they were in the same train as he got in. Afterwards he was scared, and then he started to tremble in fear. In the end, he started to comfort himself by saying that they won't do anything to him except laughing at him, since he is now just the old toy they used to bully. Now they must have lost interest in him, and all of a sudden they noticed a girl standing there, and they started to bully her by saying she must be ugly and stupid, and after seeing it, Wichi get a flashback where they are beating him and also making him meet a frog, and everyone in the school raises their hands to vote for his death. After saying, they takes out a pant, and they started to choke him by saying that they will help him. While they were doing it, everyone started to chant, "Die, die, die," and then he comes back to reality, grasping for air. And he started to think that he is scared and he feels like vomiting. But then she notices him trying his best, which made her expression to change again, and all of a sudden they noticed Wichi, which shocked him. And while they were trying to see him, she suddenly hugs him, which shocked them. But he was still scared. While she is telling him that he is so warm, afterwards she goes on by putting her hands through his coat, and she started to rub her hands all over him by saying that he is really warm. After that, she tells Wichi to do the same, but he was just confused. In the end, he goes on by doing the same, which made those bullies to get shocked. While she was just blushing afterwards, he hugs her by thinking her body temperature is so warm, which makes him to get comfortable and calming. But those bullies was just staring at them, and they started to wonder on why a cute girl like that is with Wichi. But then one guy got really angry by seeing Wichi being that happy. Afterwards a stop came, so they decided to get down, and those bullies also gets down. Afterwards he tells to his friends that he still got that video of Wichi they took at the middle school, and now he will show it to that new girl, which shocked his friend since he is getting down just for that reason while her expression is changed. Afterwards, while walking, she takes out a paper and she drops it in the ground, which was a coupon, and after seeing it, one of his friend realizes that he forgot submit the swift timing to his part-time job, so as a result they left the place. Afterwards, while walking, she was messaging a streamer to come to the 5th platform, and at the 5th platform she asks to Wichi to check her textbook if she got it correctly, and while she was taking it, a toy car falls down, to which she says that she bought it by accident. Afterwards she started to play with that toy car, while he was wondering on how did this even happen. Afterwards she started to calculate something, and all of the sudden that bully calls her, which startled Wichi. After that he says hi to Wichi. In the end he goes on by asking Wichi aren't they friends, but then Wichi suddenly hugs her, and while trembling he started to say leave her alone from this since she has nothing to do with this, and all of a sudden he started to shout by saying to Wichi it's so disgusting, so he shouldn't try to act cool. But then she tells to a spectator to call the station staff by giving a signal, and as a result that girl started to run. While that bully is shouting at Wichi, she suddenly asks to him if he is jealous of Wichi, which just made him to get more angry. But she just keeps on saying that Wichi is sure cool like a hero, who is reliable, really smart, and also he is good at sports. But after hearing her yapping, Wichi suddenly stops her from yapping, and he started to get more terrified. In the end, that bully got really angry, and he comes in to attack Wichi. But to his surprise, he steps on the toy car, which throwed him off balance, and as a result, he falls in the train track. And to his surprise, there was a train coming, which freezes him out of fear. But then that girl brought the station staff, and he tells the bully to get under the platform. After hearing it, he gets inside the station, and as a result, he survived. But then his phone got destroyed by the train, which made him to get terrified. Afterwards, they stopped the train to do a track inspection. Afterwards, he slowly gets out from the side of the station, and he was crying while coming out, which shocked Wichi, since in the middle school he looked like a guy with no fear. But now he is crying like crazy, and he goes on by thinking that he was surprised since he was always scary, and after getting out, he was still crying. Wichi thinks to himself that he actually feels sorry for him. But she was looking at him happily, and all of a sudden someone says, "Chat, it's so crazy." And it was a live streamer, and he says it had turned into an insane live stream, and everyone in the chat is saying that he should have just died, since an wannabe bully got what he deserved for messing with the lovers. After seeing that, streamer started blush, and that guy goes on by saying he received a text message that said something interesting, so he decided to stream in here, but in search of gold, he found a diamond. Afterwards, he noticed him filming the whole thing, and then he started use violence. But that streamer guy was enjoying every second afterwards, while trembling Wichi tells to her that they should go, and as a result they left the station. And while leaving, Wichi was still scared for his life, and his hands were trembling as well. While walking out of the station, he suddenly says that he is not scared anymore, and he is fine, but hearing all of it, she started to smile while saying that she is glad. Meanwhile, inside the station it was still noisy, and all of a sudden the comments started to say that they recognized the school uniform, and in just a nick of time they found his socials, and they started to make fun of him. And as the time goes on, they found his address, plus his father's workplace. And in the end his life was over from that moment,